Hi, I'm Sharanya, an Asia Pacific Leadership Fellow from India. I'd like to thank the EastWestCenter Hawaii for giving me an opportunity to do GIST, which stands for Group Independent Study Travel. Over the last 14 weeks, I've been traveling across South and Southeast Asia, exploring the penetration of technology in primary and elementary education systems. I'd like to share a story on why I wanted to do this. Through my experience volunteering in education, I always found it so exciting when children were curious. They would come out to us and ask questions about why and how things are done. And through these questions, there was so much potential for all the things they could discover. And today with the internet, there's so much we can do and help them access information that is both reliable and gives them the right answers. Right? But I was wondering, is technology really helping with schools do this as well? So today, I'd like to share with you my key observations on how developing countries are adapting to these changes. Well-funded schools across countries are not just hesitating to experiment with technology, but they're really going out there to explore popular concepts like blended learning and learning management systems. So blended learning is a concept where children not just learn in the school environment, but they also get to learn at home. And one of the most popular methodologies is flipped classrooms. So when I got the opportunity to explore this, I said, okay, so what if I could go to Singapore, where Future Schools program is one of the most famous ways in which blended learning is being accessed to 8 schools which are piloting it. And thanks to EastWestCenter's really wide network, I was able to get access to all these schools. And I learned that they have very innovative pedagogies and really flexible learning environments which made this possible. The investment ranged from immersive 3D technology, where children could learn about rainforests in environments which was touch panels and so on, or they could use iPads instead of notebooks. All of this was great because they all saw the potential of technology. Technology was tracking a lot of data for them, which made the communication between the administration, teacher, and schools really smooth, and children were constantly engaged. If a child was not engaged in a particular concept, the teacher knew, and she was able to help that child independently and had that one-to-one interaction to help them cope with that particular topic. So this also meant that children were starting to learn at different pace, right? So through this whole thing, I was starting to see how every second of a child's learning experience in the school environment was so exciting that they took back so much more home, and they were learning from so much of homework and other things that they came back to school to show what they had learned. So they were not just learning from their teachers, from the school environment, but they were also learning from their peers. So there is the other side of the paradigm, the one that's a lot closer to what's happening back home, which I'm not very comfortable with. Most countries exercise the right to education. It's mandatory for children between the ages of 6 and 14 to access free education, and it has been in operation since 2001 in India under a program called Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. This meant that we had learning environments where children were eager and they were coming from various economical backgrounds to schools to learn. But unfortunately, one of the most common themes that's running across developing countries is how these children are either going to really poor infrastructures, or the teachers are not trained or qualified to deliver the lessons that the whole program plans to do. This is a large-scale problem, in most countries at least, and it's not fair to depend on the government to fix it all. And these developing countries are starting to have young entrepreneurs who are working on various projects that are having reach to different kinds of population. So each of it might be a small pocket, but they're making significant impact. And I was starting to question, what is it that these leaders are doing differently, and what is the reach that they're able to have? So this was when I saw firsthand the potential of technology being a disruptive innovation. I would like to highlight 4 projects that are doing really great work. The first one would be GRIT, which is in Cambodia, run by Sam Ng, which uses mobile learning solution and gives access to open resources through low-end gadgets like tablets and mobile phones. The second project I'd like to mention is one in India called School in the Cloud. There are about 5 labs across India, and they practice something called self-operated learning environment. The whole thing was designed by Sugata Mitra, who gave a TED Talk in 2013. And this goes to prove that in the absence of supervision or formal training, children can teach themselves. The third project I'd like to mention is Karka Math Lab by Altius Foundation, which sets up low-cost internet workspaces in government schools, and children independently learn math through a timetable that is monitored by Khan Academy sessions, replacing regular blackboard instruction, the typical chalk and talk method. The fourth project that I was very impressed by is Akshara Foundation's pilot project to teach robotics to government school students. The teacher named Sridhar, was someone who not just looked at how Lego pieces could be used as toys, but also for robotics. And he says that initially he just went around to teach them what it is and how you can use it. But today these kids are competing in international competitions. It's quite a universal concept that students learn way faster and way better if they're having fun and they're engaged learners. Now imagine this. What if schools continue to be a learning space, but the pressure to share knowledge is not entirely on the teacher? Instead, it's shared between technology and the learner directly. The teacher then becomes the mentor and facilitates the learning process. This would mean that the facilitator can cater to various sections of students and a lot more students, and learning can be so much more personal for the learner. Going forward, I would like to craft ways in which students are independent learners and they're able to set learning goals and track their progress. I would like to see a future where education is not tied down to curriculum, but curriculums act like a guideline. It helps you understand the topics and subjects to be covered, and these could be mandatory and optional as well. And if a child wants to explore a particular topic way deeper, then that should be possible too. What started out as a documentation process for me has now become a personal journey. In the next couple of months, I look forward to collaborating with curriculum developers, technology experts, educators, and students to see how we can make this possible. And if you feel like you have ideas, I would love to talk to you. You can reach me at dilip.sharanya, which is dilip.sharanya, sharanya, at gmail.com. And on that hopeful note, I'd like to thank all the people and organizations that I could interact with in KL, Singapore, Siem Reap, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, Fulton, Chennai, Bangalore, and Gocharan. Thank you all.